Good morning, GMS. I'm Christian.
And I'm Harper.
Let's get started with the news.
Remember to keep on your computer cases. Also, please don't remove the bevel that surrounds the keys. Taking that off may result in damaged keys. Any damage done from either of these will be void from insurance if you take advantage.
Ella's frozen yogurt will be here tomorrow, so don't forget your $5. Remember to go easy on the toppings.
Order your 2023 to 2024 GMS yearbook today. Only $40 until prices increase to $46 on March 16th. Visit yearbookforever.com to order your yearbook. Sales end on May 3rd.
The spring dance is this Friday, March 8th. Tickets are being sold this week during lunch for $5. The dance is going on from 6 to 8 p.m. Make sure to follow dress code and have fun.
A friendly reminder that students feeling sick must go to the nurse's office to be evaluated. You must have a pass from your teacher before going to see the nurse. Don't text or call your parents. If you do, that will be counted as an unexcused absence.
That's all for the news. Now let's go to the weight room with Mr. Honeycutt. Take it away, Asher.
Good morning, GMS. I'm Asher, here with our Teacher of the Week, PE instructor, Mr. Honeycutt. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Would you like to start by telling us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah. This is my 9th year teaching. This is my first year teaching PE, but this is my 3rd year teaching in Greenwood schools. So I've taught here before. I was at Westwood before this.
If you weren't a gym teacher, what would you be doing right now?
I'd probably still be a teacher of some sorts. So teaching science or social studies. I actually really love those two subjects. So still teaching of somewhat, but yeah.
What is the most interesting thing about your job?
Probably the amount of times I have to tell kids to spit out their gum.
What are your hobbies and some things you like to do?
I love coaching football. That's kind of what I do on the side anyway here. But also just being outdoors, hiking, fishing, all that good stuff. So.
Okay. What is your favorite grade to work with, 6th, 7th, and 8th, and why?
I think currently 6th grade is really fun to work with. They go into the weight room, they work really hard. 7th and 8th grade, we're working there. We're trying to get them ready for high school, so they're doing a couple things that are a little bit more advanced. But 6th graders right now are dominating. So.
Okay. Thank you for coming to our show today, Mr. Honeycutt. Have a great week.
Thanks. You guys too.
Now let's go back to the studio.
Hi, welcome to Trending and Entertainment News.
Where we share weird stories on all things entertainment. I'm Divinity.
And I'm Evie. Let's get started.
According to AP News, on Tuesday, January 23, 2024, a 4-year-old giraffe named Benito arrived at his new home, a huge animal park in Mexico, and is having trouble fitting in. He had a lot of pressure on him from animal advocates and is now being kept alone to prevent any harm. His caretakers say as he gets older, he will be kept with other animals and develop social skills.
In movie releases this week, we have Kung Fu Panda 4 coming out on March 8th. After 3 death-defying adventures defeating world-class villains with his unmatched courage and mad martial arts skills, Po the Dragon Warrior is called upon by destiny. This poses a couple of problems. He needs to quickly find and train a new Dragon Warrior before he can assume his new lofty position.
In entertainment news this week, here are some of the upcoming video game releases for this month. Quilting Cats of the Calico releasing on March 5th and available on Switch and PC. The Outlast Trials releasing on March 5th and available on PlayStation 4 and 5, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, and PC. And finally, As Dusk Falls releasing on March 7th and available on PlayStation 4 and 5.
That's all for Top Trending. Now let's go to GMS Sports.
Good morning, GMS. This is Mr. Brooks here, and I am here to tell you the results of the Black History Month Challenge, Who Am I? One, I want to thank everyone that participated. We had lots and lots of entries, and I hope you guys learned something new, at least about one person. So now I'm going to start off with our 6th grade winner. These are my special hosts. And it is Jaslyn Sanchez. Come see Mr. Brooks, room 3108, right on the top floor of the penthouse. For 7th grade, we have Lexi Niemeyer. Come see Mr. Brooks right on down the hall. And finally, for our 8th grade winner, we have, can't take that one. They didn't put a last name. I don't know first names. Gotta put your first and last name on works, folks. Deja Hawkins Rodriguez, you are our final winner. And once again, thank you for all the students that participated. And don't forget, this month, is Famous Women in History Month.
Hello there, my name is Benjamin. I'll be doing sports. Now let's look at last week's sports results. Last Monday, the 8th grade girls basketball team beat Clark Pleasant 38-19 in the first round of Mid-State. Maddie Judge led the team with 14 points. Millie Fiesel came in strong, putting up 11 points, and Maddie Bethel hit a clutch 3-pointer that kept the momentum going. Great job, Lady Woodman. Last Tuesday, the 8th grade girls basketball team lost a close one to Plainfield in the second round of the Mid-State tournament. After battling back from a 10-point deficit at the half, Maddie Judge and Millie Fiesel led the scoring tonight with 12 and 10 points. Team played much better in the second half, but just came up short. Last Tuesday, the GMS wrestling team lost a close one to Paul Hadley, 60-48, with many wrestlers getting individual wins, including Aiden Johnson, Cash Pearson, Austin Reynolds, Braxton Davidson, Noah Cox, Orlando Johnson, Trent Breeding, and Sammy Johnson Jr. Last Wednesday, the GMS wrestling team dominated Beech Grove, 82-21. Once again, the team had many winners, including Elijah Watson, Braden Skinner, Chris Majors, Gavin Cox, Eli Hawkins, Braden Mink, Gunnar Tomey, Leland Morton, and Carter Alfke. It's time for GMS Sports. Let's look at this week's home events for the week of March 4th. Monday, March 4th, 2024, softball tryouts will be starting at 5 p.m. in the auxiliary gym. 7th and 8th grade girls basketball is County Road 1 versus Greenwood Christian starting at 5:30 p.m. Wednesday, March 6, 2024, softball tryouts will be starting at 5 p.m. in the auxiliary gym again. That's all for sports. Now let's go to a special about screen time.
Have you ever kept track of how much time you spend looking at a screen? Like actually logged what you're doing and for how long? Well, that's what I did over the last few days. And on an average day, I spent about an hour on Instagram, way too much time on Twitter, over 3 hours, and a little over an hour or so on Netflix. So in total, I'm spending over 5 hours every day in front of a screen. And that's not counting text messages or listening to music. That's literally a quarter of my day, every day. So what's all this screen time doing to me? Well, I asked what I always ask, Google. And the results fell into 2 buckets. The first bucket blamed smartphones, video games, and social media for increases in depression, anxiety, and even obesity. The second bucket said that screen use might help improve how we feel about ourselves by keeping us connected with people. So, what does the scientific research say? Is all this screen time really bad for us? Okay, first things first. Screen time as a term isn't that useful because it doesn't really tell you what you're doing on screen. It's kind of like if someone asks you what you had for lunch, and you say, food. That doesn't really provide any real info. And not all screen time is created equal. Context matters. Spending 4 hours creating a video for YouTube is way different than spending 4 hours watching cat videos. How you feel about and how you process each of those situations won't be the same. So lumping them under screen time doesn't make much sense. If researchers want to figure out what spending so much time on our screens is doing to us, they need to break down a few variables. What's the specific screen activity? Are we passively scrolling and looking at pictures, or are we commenting and posting? How long and how often are we on the screen? Because there's so much to untangle, the research is kinda all over the place. You can find individual studies that support and contradict just about every conclusion linking screen time and health. To quote the director of the National Institutes of Health, the research is quite limited, has not been conclusive, and further study is needed. That's why it's crucial to look over a body of research to identify trends. All right, so let's get to it. Our digital lives can take a physical toll on us, and I'll be the first to admit, I'm usually on my phone right before I go to bed, even though multiple studies have shown that leads to bad sleep. And we all know what can happen without enough sleep. Concentrating on things is hard, you can get irritable. I sort of walk around like a zombie, and sometimes me no make when I talk eye. Sense? And it's not just me. In 1991, 26% of teens were getting less than the doctor recommended 7 hours of sleep a night. Today, that number is over 40%. Now, that doesn't mean you can place the blame on screens, but that same study did find that teens who spent 5 hours a day online were 50% more likely to not sleep enough than those who only spent an hour online each day. I'm skeptical though. Who are those people that say they only spend an hour online a day, and why are they lying to researchers? Doesn't make sense, doesn't add up. Some researchers even use the term addiction when talking about how we interact with our devices. Whether it's video games or waiting for a like on an Instagram post, we get caught in short-term dopamine-driven feedback loops where we get a quick pleasure boost but then constantly crave the next one. Now, there's a lot of debate on whether or not this stuff is a bona fide addiction like gambling. And if you want to learn more about that, check out our video that looks into whether or not video game addiction is real. One study in 2017 found that the more time people spend in front of screens, the more it affected their well-being. Their chances of developing depression and suicidal thoughts went up. It was all the ammo the news media needed to fuel the panic about screen time. But that one study is just one study. Another group of researchers came along, looked at the same data and asked, is there really a link between screen time and depression? And if so, how strong is that link? They found that screen time is correlated with depression, but that correlation is really small. In fact, it was the same as eating potatoes regularly. The correlation between wearing glasses and depression was even stronger. And we're not seeing headlines warning about potatoes and glasses ruining an entire generation, so maybe screen time in general is less important than we think. The connection between screen time and health gets a little bit clearer when you look at how people are using their screens. It's not just about quantity, it's also about the quality. Passive screen time, things like watching TV or scrolling through your Instagram feed, is usually associated with the negative stuff, like depression, moodiness, anxiety, and even laziness. Active screen time, stuff that engages you physically or cognitively, can actually be helpful. Screens also allow us to stay connected with people. With technology like FaceTime, I could talk to my best friend who's on the other side of the country right now. Now sure, some people have to deal with feeling overwhelmed because of drama or feeling pressure to only post a highlight reel of themselves to make them look good to others. But in many studies, a majority of teens say that social media mainly helps the relationships they already have with their friends. And almost 60% have met a new friend. Like me, I just recently visited a homie in Canada who I've known online for like 7 years, so that was pretty awesome. Shout out to Shannon. And when you look at stuff like multiplayer video games, Twitch streams, or Reddit, wandering around online allows you to find your tribe. If you don't quite fit in where you live or you live in a small or isolated community, quality screen time might be essential to keeping you sane. So, what do you think? What screen activities do you value? And what do you want to cut out? Let us know in the comments below. Oh, we want to give a shout out to Common Sense Education, who we collabed with on this episode. Thanks a lot, guys. And we have 2 more episodes with them coming out, so stay tuned for those. And if you're a teacher, check us out on KQED Learn. Till next time, guys. Peace out.
Hello, I'm Hadley, and let's get with the weather. On Monday, we have a high of 74 and a low of 54 with a 5% chance of rain. The wind is kind of high. And then on Tuesday, we have a high of 63 and a low of 54 and a 93% chance of rain, sadly. Then on Wednesday, we have a high of 54, a low of 45, and a 28% chance of rain. And then on Thursday, we have a high of 57, a low of 38, and a 15% chance of rain. And then on Friday, we have more rain, sadly. High of 56 and a low of 47 and an 81% chance of rain. Bye, Greenwood.